Welcome back to General Biology 1 lectures. In this video, we will be discussing the 4 misconceptions about evolution, and we will be explaining why these are only misconceptions, and we will present the facts that contrast them. In the previous discussions, we have already discussed that evolution is a change in the genetic makeup of a population over time. These changes happen gradually as organisms develop or enhance traits that are fitted in their environment or the natural pressures around them, and as these changes are passed on to their next generation. Evolution does not necessarily favor the big or strong organisms. It actually favors those that carry the traits necessary for the given environmental situations. But then again, evolution does not occur through fitness and survival alone. It occurs through reproduction, and it does not happen in a single organism alone. It happens in populations. The first misconception is that evolution is just a theory. Most of us would think, upon hearing the word theory, that it is not factual or it is just an idea coming from a person or people that may be based on their discoveries or findings that weren't proven as fact. That is not right. In science, theory is a body of thoroughly tested and verified explanations for a set of observations of the natural world. When we say verified, it has been proven true, accurate, and justified. A theory is not a hypothesis or a prediction someone has before testing or experimenting. It is a principle formed as an attempt to explain things that have already been validated by data. Therefore, it is supported by evidence. While a law, on the other hand, is a firmly established set of unquestionable principles, evolution is a theory that should not be invalidated or even considered not factual. A theory holds together series of facts that are well tested and explains these facts reasonably. This second misconception is one of the most talked about. Humans evolved from apes. Humans did not evolve from apes or monkeys. Humans have a common ancestor with monkeys and apes. We did not come from them, we are related to them. We can consider them as cousins since they are primates and so we are. Among the 300 or more primate species there are, we are more than 90% related to the chimpanzees and the bonobos. While we are approximately 98.7% genetically related, between the two, the chimpanzees, like the one on the left, have strong and sturdy physique, while the bonobos, like the one on the right, have longer legs, narrower shoulders, and more slender build. And while chimpanzees are aggressive and male-dominated, bonobos are graceful and female-dominated. The third misconception is that evolution explains the origin of life. The truth is, the theory of evolution explains how populations change over time and how life diversifies the origin of species. It talks about how populations adapt, fit in, develop favorable traits, and pass these traits to their offspring. The discussion on the origin of life is very broad and most of the time controversial, as there is religion aside from science that people believe in. And there is a legion of beliefs each religion holds about the origin of life. Even science has numerous ways to explain how life and the world itself started, which may start from the laws of physics and principles of chemistry to the branches of life science like genetics and microbiology. Life in itself is so complex and delicate, according to the discoveries of science, that it is not hard to believe in a supreme entity being at the helm of everything in existence. And evolution is only one of the many proofs of life's intricacy which we should continue to study on. Fourth misconception: evolution can't explain complex organs. In reality, it can. As we try to understand the complexity of organs in certain species, it is important to note that there is descent with modification that links organisms today with the organisms that thrived long ago. According to Darwin himself, organs with similar use could have been favored by natural selection even if they did not provide full or exact function. One of the examples is the evolution of the eyes from organs that have an eye-like function, just like the detection of light. The simplest eye-like structure is found in single-celled protists like Euglena that can detect light with light sensitivity spots or eye spots. Another is the pits or eye spots of flatworms, which contain a light-sensitive pigment that allows them to detect the shadow of their predators. The Nautilus mollusk has an optic cap that captures more light towards the retina, thus improving vision that allows it to search for food. From these simple visual structures to the more complex ones, like the eye of the octopus, which can highly focus just like the human eye, it can be inferred that such complex organ has evolved and has been naturally selected from simple structures that serve the same purpose. Some more complex organs that have gone through evolution include the wings of insects and birds, the vertebrate heart, and the brain, among others. So, where do new species come from? First, let us define species. A biological species is a group of organisms that can reproduce with one another. So as soon as an organism from one group cannot reproduce with organisms from another group, they are defined as two separate populations of two separate species. Once a reproductive barrier is in place, two groups will evolve separately and are considered two separate species with a common ancestor. Reproductive barriers are commonly established through migration, just like what happened to the cat family over the long years that passed. Cats have a panther-like ancestor that first appeared in Southeast Asia over 10 million years ago. As environmental pressures changed, these cats migrated to different continents and developed new species, but later on, some of their lineages have returned to Asia. According to KillarNeyCut.com, in 1997, Warren Johnson and Stephen O'Brien performed a DNA analysis of 37 living cat species, which allowed them to divide today's cats into 8 lineages and discovered a series of at least 10 intercontinental migrations. The great roaring cats, like the lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars, were the first batch or the first to branch off about 6.4 million years ago. The ancestor of the modern domesticated cats or domestic cats was the last to appear about 3.4 million years ago. What about the different breeds of domesticated cats or dogs that we have right now? Are they considered as different species? The answer is no. While this may seem odd for some because of the extent of the difference the breeds have, like the huge difference in size, behavior, and even physique, they are just breeds or varieties of a single species, which is Canis lupus familiaris, or domesticated dog. They differ drastically in their appearance and other characteristics, while most of their genomes are still very much alike. And while they belong to the same species, some of them may have or may not be compatible for reproduction due to restrictions like size. Although there are rare hybrids produced when different species mate, like the zonkey, a hybrid of zebra and donkey, or the mule, a hybrid of a female horse and a male donkey, these hybrids get very few to no chances of producing the same offspring because they don't have a viable number of sex cells or the same number of chromosomes and may end up producing only the likes of one parent. You may learn more by watching the video Why Can't Mules Have Babies? Organisms are related to one another in many ways. It can be through their biological molecules such as proteins and of course anatomical structures. Many misconceptions exist about the theory of evolution, including some perpetrated by critics of the theory. But it is very important to note that first, evolution as a scientific theory means that it has years of observation and accumulated data supporting it. It is not just a theory as a person may say in common vernacular. Second, humans did not evolve from apes. Humans and apes have the same ancestor. Third, the theory of evolution does not address the origins of life on this planet. Scientists believe that we cannot repeat the circumstances that led to life on Earth because at this time, life already exists. The presence of life has so dramatically changed, just like the environment, that the origins cannot be produced for study. Finally, evolution happens to populations, not just a single organism, and complex organs evolved from simple organs with a similar function that is favored by natural selection. All of these four presented on screen are misconceptions that by now we should already be forgetting about. I hope you learned something. This ends now our lecture. Thank you for listening and watching.